Welcome to another tutorial at strobezilla.com. Today what we're going to talk about is how I make great headshots using the Lumiquest Softbox III. Now, the Lumiquest Softbox III travels with me everywhere. It fits in the back pocket of a camera bag, and it fits in the front pocket of roller bags, etc. It is probably the largest softbox that you can mount to your strobe without risking ruining your strobe because of the excess weight. So let's get started. So our subject is about 8 feet in front of a white wall. He's leaning forward, as you can see, and he's leaning on the back support of a tall bar stool. When you use the Lumiquest Softbox III, you want to bring it in as close to your subject as you can without interfering with your frame. So this softbox is just outside of the frame that you see here in the picture. Now when you do that, when you bring it in close, what you're doing is you're increasing the effective size of the softbox. Normally when you use a softbox, you can have it back a little bit and you still get that soft light. But the problem with it is that the further you bring your light away from your subject, the smaller you make that source of light, meaning you increase the harshness of that light. So with the Lumiquest Softbox III, what we're trading off for ease of setup, ease of breakdown, and ease of portability is the fact that we have to get it in as close as we can to use it and make it an effective softbox. My exposure for my main light, which is the softbox, is f8. Now, on the other side, camera left, what I do is I bring in a reflector. And again, I bring that in as close as I can. You don't have to use a reflector. You can use a piece of white foam core that you can purchase from a craft supply store, or we even have some stores that have craft areas that have white foam core in them. Now, you're going to need to bring it forward towards your camera. As you can see, it's slightly in front of the subject, and that's so that you can capture as much light from the softbox and bounce it back into your subject. If you look on camera left, if you look on his face, there's a nice shadow there. Don't be afraid to leave shadows. We want shadows. We don't necessarily want them too harsh in a business portrait, but we still want them there. It shows dimensionality, and it brings our 3D subject out in a two-dimensional medium of photography. Now, for a white background, here's a simple rule that I always use. If my background is a nice white, I set my exposure on that light to be 1/3 of an f-stop more than my main light. So in this case, that would be f9. If the white wall is a little bit dingy, a little bit dirty, then I'm going to go a half stop higher and I'm going to set my exposure for 9.5. Set your strobe for a wide angle so that it disperses all over your frame and you don't have to worry about doing any Photoshop work later on. Now, this lighting setup that you see right here is perfect for a headshot on white or very light backgrounds. But if you look on camera left, you're going to see a little bit of highlight on his shoulder and on his hair. And you're also going to see a little rim light on his jawline. What I did here was, because he has really dark hair and he's wearing a dark shirt, I brought in one more light and I used it to create just a little bit of dimension in the photograph. What you have to watch out for now is if somebody has light hair or they're wearing light clothing, you do not want to let their hair blend into the background, and you don't want to let their clothes blend into the background. I don't do this all the time, but it was a perfect opportunity. So that one there was set at f4, and it just gives a little bit of sheen, a little bit of highlight, and a little bit of rim light. That's all. We're adding a little bit of 3D to this photograph. So there you have it. And right around 5 minutes, I just showed you how to make a top quality professional headshot using the Lumiquest Softbox III and strobes that you probably have in your camera bag. If you have any questions, post them.